Episode 7 just did something. Stranger Things has never done this bluntly before. It looked straight at the camera, named the destination, and basically said, "Yep, this is D and D now." Dustin finally explains the Upside Down the way it actually works. Not as an alternate world, but as a bridge, a wormhole. An interdimensional tunnel that rips through space-time and stays open only because of one stabilizing energy source, exotic matter.
Oh, this is Hawkins, and this is the Upside Down. We always assumed the Upside Down was another dimension opened by Brenner, but it turns out it's actually a bridge. More specifically, an interdimensional bridge that rips through space-time. It is wildly unstable, but held together by exotic matter, which we found dead center right above the lab. In theoretical physics, they call this type of bridge a
wormhole.
And this wormhole connects Hawkins to here, another world that I've coined the Abyss.
Then he drops the real bomb. That wormhole connects Hawkins to another world that I've coined, the Abyss. And when someone asks why that name, Dustin answers, a realm of pure chaos and evil. And Mike responds, D and D. Jesus Christ.
The Abyss.
Any particular reason?
A realm of pure chaos and evil.
I'm sorry?
D&D.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
That one exchange is the show confirming two things at once. First, the Upside Down was never the final realm. It was the hallway. Second, the hallway leads somewhere deeper that maps cleanly onto D&D planar lore, a lower plane style hell realm defined by chaos and evil. Now here's the D&D connection in a way anyone can understand. In Dungeons & Dragons, the universe isn't one flat map. It's stacked like levels. You've got your normal world, and then you've got other planes, whole realms with their own rules. And one of the most infamous is the Abyss, an evil, chaotic plane associated with demons and endless layers. So when Dustin describes the Abyss as pure chaos and evil, he's basically describing the D&D version in one sentence. And the show doesn't stop there. Dustin goes further and says he believes this Abyss is the true home of the Demogorgons, the Vines, the Mind Flayer, all the worst stuff they've been dealing with, and that Henry was banished there years ago.
I believe this Abyss is the true home of the Demogorgons, the Vines, the Mind Flayer, all the nasty shit we found in the Upside Down, and it's where all those years ago you banished Henry.
That's important because it reframes the entire monster taxonomy. In D&D, Demogorgon isn't just a random monster name. Demogorgon is a demon lord tied to the Abyss in official D&D settings and lore. So Dustin calling the source realm the Abyss, while also saying, this is the true home of the Demogorgons, isn't just a nerd reference. It's the show lining up its monster origins with D&D's idea that some creatures don't come from another dimension. They come from a lower plane that bleeds into reality. Now, quick but important nuance. In classic D&D lore, Mind Flayers are usually treated as alien horrors tied to something called the Far Realm, not abyssal demons. So either Stranger Things is blending planes on purpose, or Dustin is using the only label he knows to describe the worst place imaginable. Either way, it's still D&D logic, a realm beyond the normal world, with monsters that shouldn't exist here, pushing through a gate. And that brings us to the most terrifying part of episode 7. Dustin explains that Henry would have stayed lost in that abyss if it wasn't for Brenner. Brenner had Dustin find Henry. And when 11 made remote contact with the abyss, the bridge formed. Ever since, Henry and his army have been using that bridge to cross right back into Hawkins. That means the Upside Down problem isn't just supernatural, it's structural. It's plumbing. It's a doorway that humanity accidentally helped install. So now you understand why killing Vecna alone might not be enough. In D&D terms, you can kill the boss, but if the portal is still open, the campaign isn't over. The dungeon keeps spawning monsters. Now, briefly, here's how Operation Beanstalk fits into the D&D world and why it's actually a perfect endgame plan. Dustin lays it out with props. The radio tower is here. The bridge is here. They can't reach the abyss from the tower right now. But Max said Vecna is drawing their worlds together. So the plan is, let him do it. Wait as the worlds move closer, and when the radio tower is poking through one of the rifts, 11 makes her move. She enters Vecna's mind, ambushes him, stops the spell, halts the worlds from moving, and that creates the Beanstalk, a climbable path into the abyss. That is pure D&D endgame structure. Step 1. Interrupt the ritual. Step 2. Use the brief pause to enter the boss arena. Step 3. Run the rescue and the kill before the timer restarts. And the Beanstalk imagery isn't random either. D&D cosmology often talks about planes being connected by routes, pathways, and axes, sometimes framed like a world tree model, where realms are linked by a central structure. So the tower becoming a literal climb route during a planar overlap is basically Stranger Things, turning a planar connection into a physical dungeon ladder. It's a visual way to do something D&D does all the time. The party finds the only path between realms, and it only stays open for a limited window. Then, Dustin adds the clean exit like a real DM, writing the final objective. On the way out, they drop a bomb near the exotic matter, set a timer, escape the Upside Down, and the bridge collapses, taking the Abyss, the Demogorgons, the Mind Flayer, all of it. That's the ultimate D&D win condition. Not kill every monster, shut the gate, collapse the bridge, end the invasion route permanently. So episode 7's D&D truth is this. The Upside Down was never the destination. It was always the doorway. The real place is the Abyss. And now the story isn't just a fight. It's a raid into a lower plane to stop a ritual, rescue the captured, and collapse the only bridge home.
We kicked Vecna's ass last year, but I think he just fled across this bridge back to the Abyss to lick his wounds.
Merge. Henry wasn't licking his wounds in the Abyss, he was making rifts, weakening the Abyss, just like he weakened Hawkins. So when the Abyss and Hawkins collide,
They become one.
He's remaking the world.
Everything you thought you knew about Stranger Things cosmology is wrong. For 5 seasons, fans have assumed the Upside Down is the final boss arena. It's the dark dimension. It's the source of all monsters. It's the end goal. But episode 7 just revealed the Upside Down was never the real threat. It's a bridge, a wormhole, a crossing point between Hawkins and something far older, far darker, and infinitely more dangerous. That something is called the Abyss. And if you understand D&D's Abyss plane, you understand exactly what Stranger Things has been building toward all along. The show just confirmed it's been using D&D cosmology as its blueprint the entire time. In the next 11 minutes, I'm breaking down the 3-layer cosmology that just recontextualized 5 seasons of narrative. Let's talk about what Dustin literally says in episode 7, because the dialogue is everything. He's explaining to the group how the Upside Down actually works, and he starts with a correction. We've always assumed the Upside Down was another dimension opened by Brenner, but it turns out it's actually a bridge. More specifically, an interdimensional bridge that rips through space and time.
Oh, this is Hawkins, and this is the Upside Down. We always assumed the Upside Down was another dimension opened by Brenner, but it turns out it's actually a bridge. More specifically, an interdimensional bridge that rips through space-time. It is wildly unstable, but held together by exotic matter, which we found dead center right above the lab. In theoretical physics, they call this type of bridge a
Wormhole.
And this wormhole connects Hawkins to here. Another world that I've coined the Abyss.
This is crucial. For 5 seasons, the show let us believe the Upside Down was a place, a dark mirror world, a destination. Dustin is saying it's not a place, it's a pathway. He continues, it is wildly unstable, but held together by exotic matter, which we found dead center right above the lab. In theoretical physics, they call this type of bridge a wormhole. A wormhole. Think about what that means. A wormhole isn't a destination. It's a tunnel, a conduit, a connection between 2 separate points in space. Then comes the key line. And this wormhole connects Hawkins to here, another world that I've coined the Abyss. The Abyss, not the Upside Down. a different realm entirely. And then Mike responds, D&D, Jesus Christ.
The Abyss.
Any particular reason?
A realm of pure chaos and evil.
I'm sorry?
D&D.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
That's the show saying it out loud. This isn't metaphorical. This isn't vague fantasy world building. The Abyss is a D&D reference. It's the Abyss plane from the game itself. Dustin confirms, a realm of pure chaos and evil. That's the textbook D&D description of the Abyss. In D&D, the Abyss is an infinite plane of chaos, home to demons, aberrations, and entities so fundamentally alien that mortals can't comprehend them. It's evil without morality. It's chaos without order. And that's where Demogorgons live. That's where the Mind Flayer originates. That's the true home of everything that's been hunting Hawkins. So here's what the show just established. There are 3 distinct layers to reality in Stranger Things. Layer 1, Earth. Hawkins, the material plane, normal reality. Layer 2, the Upside Down, the bridge, the wormhole. This is the space between worlds, held together by exotic matter. It's not stable. It's not hospitable. It exists only because of Brenner's forced psychic contact with the Abyss. Layer 3, the Abyss, the true realm, the source. This is where the monsters originate. This is chaos incarnate. Now, think about what this means for the narrative. For 5 seasons, the Upside Down felt like the darkest place in the show. It's toxic, it's filled with monsters, it's dying. But it's not the real threat, it's a symptom. The real threat is beyond the Upside Down. The Abyss is the disease. The Upside Down is the infection spreading from it. In D&D terms, this is brilliant cosmology. You have the material plane, Earth. The elemental / otherworldly plane, Upside Down. The Abyss, true chaos realm. It mirrors how D&D structures the Great Wheel. Multiple planes of existence, each more alien and hostile than the last. This cosmology revelation also reframes everything about Henry and the Gates. Here's what actually happened. 11 didn't send Henry to the Upside Down. She sent him to the Abyss. That's why he survived. That's why he's been able to hide for so long. That's why he's so powerful. Brenner forced 11 to make remote psychic contact with the Abyss itself. When she did, it created a tier, a bridge, the wormhole we now call the Upside Down. Henry fell through that tear into the true chaos realm. He's been there for years, in absolute darkness, in a realm of pure chaos. And he's thrived there. Think about that. Henry is so fundamentally broken, so aligned with chaos and evil, that the Abyss became his home. He adapted. He survived. He grew stronger. Meanwhile, the bridge he fell through, the Upside Down, began spreading decay back into Hawkins. It's like the infection is leaking through the wormhole. In D&D, this would be described as planar bleeding. When a portal is forced open and poorly maintained, reality begins to merge. The rules of one plane start bleeding into another. That's exactly what's happening. The Upside Down is decaying because it's holding back the Abyss, and now Henry is using that bridge to come back. Now here's where it gets really interesting from a D&D perspective. Dustin explicitly says, I believe this Abyss is the true home of the Demogorgons, the Vines, the Mind Flayer, all the nasty shit we found in the Upside Down.
I believe this Abyss is the true home of the Demogorgons, the Vines, the Mind Flayer, all the nasty shit we found in the Upside Down, and it's where all those years ago you banished Henry.
So Demogorgons are native to the Abyss, not the Upside Down. And in D&D, Demogorgon is a canonical demon lord. It's one of the most powerful beings in the Abyss. It's the Prince of Demons. It has 2 heads. It's an iconic D&D monster. The show is directly using D&D monster taxonomy. It's not just using the name as a spooky reference. It's saying, these creatures follow D&D rules. They originate from D&D's Abyss. The Mind Flayer, also D&D. Mind Flayers are aberrations native to the far realm in D&D, which is essentially a chaotic otherworldly dimension. The show recontextualizes them as abyssal entities, The vines, the spores, the infected zones, all of it originates from the abyss, spreads through the Upside Down, and contaminates Hawkins. This proves something crucial. The show has been using D&D monster mechanics and lore the entire time. We just didn't realize it until now. Every creature, every threat, every rule has been following D&D cosmology. The gates, the rifts, the tainted zones, it's all D&D planar mechanics applied to a TV show. So what's Vecna's actual endgame? He's not trying to conquer Hawkins. He's not trying to destroy it. He's trying to merge it with the abyss. Dustin. Henry wasn't licking his wounds in the abyss. He was making rifts, weakening the abyss just like he weakened Hawkins. So when the abyss and Hawkins collide, they become one. He's remaking the world.
We kicked Vecna's ass last year, but I think he just fled across this bridge back to the abyss to lick his wounds.
Merge. Henry wasn't licking his wounds in the abyss. He was making rifts, weakening the abyss, just like he weakened Hawkins. So when the abyss and Hawkins collide,
They become one.
He's remaking the world.
This is an apotheosis ritual. Vecna is using 12 abducted children as vessels, magical conduits to amplify his power. As he channels through them, he's pulling the abyss closer and closer to Earth. Eventually, the wormhole will collapse. The barrier between the two planes will dissolve, and they'll merge into a new reality. A world that is part abyss, part Earth, all chaos and evil. It's genius from a D&D perspective. This is exactly how high-level D&D villains operate. They identify a planar weakness. They perform a ritual to destabilize the barrier. They use sacrificial vessels to amplify the spell. They merge realities according to their will. Vecna is acting like a god-level D&D villain. He's not fighting with swords and spells. He's rewriting the rules of reality itself. So how do you stop a god-level ritual? How do you fight when the very fabric of reality is being restructured? You exploit the mechanics of the ritual itself. The party's plan, Operation Beanstalk. The name is brilliant. In D&D, planes are often connected by world trees, vertical axes like Yggdrasil. The party is literally creating a beanstalk, a climbing path between merged worlds. Here's how it works. As Vecna draws the abyss closer, the radio tower, positioned above the lab at the center of everything, will poke through one of the dimensional rifts. 11 enters Vecna's mind from the Upside Down lab, finds him in his twisted consciousness, and pauses his spell. This momentary pause halts the world merge. The radio tower, now protruding through a rift, becomes a literal climbing path into the abyss. The party climbs. They find Vecna. They stop him. They plant a bomb to destroy the exotic matter sphere. The bridge collapses. The abyss snaps back into place. It's a multi-phase dungeon encounter, mind combat, environmental ascension, boss fight, ritual destruction, pure D&D logic. Here's the broader point, Stranger Things. Season 5, Episode 7 just confirmed something fans have suspected for years. The show has been using D&D as its structural framework from the very beginning. The gates aren't magic, they're spells. The Upside Down isn't a dimension, it's a wormhole. The monsters aren't random creatures, they're D&D entities. Vecna's plan isn't a vague apocalypse, it's a planar merger ritual. Every rule, every mechanic, every threat has been following D&D cosmology and D&D spell logic. The show didn't just reference D&D in the early seasons. It embedded D&D's entire cosmological framework into its foundation. And it did it so seamlessly that most viewers didn't notice. Until episode 7, when Dustin spells it out, and Mike literally says, D&D Jesus Christ. That's the show winking at its audience. That's confirmation that we've been reading the code correctly the entire time, and it's why the endgame works. Because everything follows D&D rules, the solution is also a D&D solution. A beanstalk, a climb, a final confrontation, a ritual destruction. If you're a D&D player, you probably gasped the moment Dustin said abyss. If you're a Stranger Things fan, you just learned that everything you've watched for 5 seasons has been D&D mechanics translated into narrative. Either way, Episode 7 is a masterclass in how to build a fictional world using game design as your architecture. The 3-layer cosmology, the planar mechanics, the ritual logic, the beanstalk. It's all D&D, and the finale is going to be a D&D encounter structured for television.